Hi and welcome to Battle Systems. This is the tutorial video for the bunker entrance here, which is like an entry door, as it were. There you go, that's this one here. What I've done, as always, is I've pre-cut and printed, scalpeled everything out, ready for the build on the table. I've also scored as per the instruction sheets you get with the downloads here and around all the little fiddly bits and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's get straight to it. First thing I want to do, as I normally do, is I want to construct the base up first. So I'm just gonna move off the printed hull parts. Okay, so first of all, let's put these together. You've got two small, two sort of thin base parts here, of which what you're going to do is you're going to put a side support on here, like so. Boop, and then you're going to put an internal support. And the internal support's not going to go next to it, it's going to actually sit on the very edge, and it's marked up with a line. It's going to sit on the very edge there, so that lines up with the top of that, as it were. And what you've got a little spacer here which you're just going to glue in here to make sure that the spacing is correct. And when you glue the spacer in, obviously you want to make sure that you don't actually block this hole just here, because you want your clip to go in there. So we'd kind of glue the spacer like that or something similar. Okay, so yeah, first thing I'm going to do then is I'm just going to edge glue this onto here, one of the first sides. Okay, now there you go, that's done. It's kind of like a stand-up shark fin. What I'm going to do here is now I'm actually going to glue in the side support, and I'm just going to pop it. It doesn't have to be actually down on the base there, just because it's just a space. It's just a spacer actually. Sorry, it's a spacer. Glue in the little spacer there. Don't put it up too high, because what we don't want to do is end up getting in the way or blocking one of these little recesses here, which is why these internal supports are recessed back. So once it's in, I just kind of put it down roughly to in line with the base. Okay, that's that. The next thing I'm going to want to do is put the internal support on, which is actually just going to sit on top like that, and the two go together. So some gluing on the bottom here, and a little bit up there as well. Or actually, just here and across the bottom, I think. Okay, cool. Now the spacer should do its job anyway, to keep this this where it should be. At the bottom, I'm just going to make sure that it's fully flush and in line, which it does seem to be. Now, a bit like when you do the single door pods on the foundation set, I've got to make sure this is level, so you can see this isn't quite level. So we want this to dry as absolute level as possible. So let's just move that slightly. The outside, which is the side support, is exactly level, which is exactly what we want. So very, very carefully, just pop that to one side to dry. I'm going to level it just in case I've moved it. That seems fine. Smashing. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and basically do exactly the same for the other side now. Okay, so there it is. That's the two side supports done. They still need a little bit of time to dry, so I'm just going to pop those to one side. Next thing we need to do is the hull, and we need to kind of fold this all into shape. And actually, we're going to end up folding these bits and pieces into shape as well, and generally just sticking the whole thing together. So yeah, I'll just move that to the side. I'm going to start with this bit first. Okay, so these are all the parts kind of ready. all we've got to do now is kind of put it together. Okay, so all we've got to do now is pop these under here. We've got the two side supports with the bases and everything, and internal supports connected. We just basically got to glue those in there. So just make sure, I've already done it, make sure that these fit and nothing needs sort of shaping or trimming or anything like that. And these fit lovely, and this should do unless you've had a slip of the scalpel. So yeah, cool, that's great. What we're going to do is yeah, basically just stick those in there now. Now what you can do, as I've mentioned on the other videos, is glue these little bits in here, the little blockers, as it were. I'm just not going to do that to save time on this particular one, as you've seen me do it a couple of times before. But yeah, well, we'll just crack on and glue these side bits in. Okay. So it's edge gluing all round here. Yeah, I guess edge gluing here on the internal support as well. As you get further up, this becomes hidden inside. You can be a bit more liberal with the glue, as it were. So I'll start with those bits. I'm just going to do one piece here, and then I'll glue the other side the same, and then we'll put the top down. Okay, so that's the first two bits done on this side. That's given me a little bit of leeway now to be able to just glue straight down here. The reason I didn't just glue down on one side, because that makes it very difficult to then try and get this piece in and glue it all in without bending and creasing this. So it's the best way to do it. Okay, so along that vein, what we're going to do now is we're actually going to glue this all in one go now. So you can splodgy glues the inside bits and then edge glue the outside bits. So I'm going to go straight with the splodgy glues first. Okay, so what you're left with is all the tabs and bits and pieces inside. Really, the only thing left to do is to just locate these bits and pieces inside. So what you've got the kind of the main sort of hull part, which is going to drop into there. We'll check to make sure that all fits nicely. Doesn't need any trimming. And then finally, once that's in, you've got this here, which creates the kind of, if you like, the architrave, for want of a better word, that kind of goes inside there and gives it its shape and everything. So I'm just going to check to make sure that this all lines up nice and neat, etc. Also, not forgetting to check the levelling. Yep, that's spot on. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll check to make sure that this all fits nicely. Okay, so that seems to fit quite nicely. Okay, so how I'm going to do this, when I glue this in, I'm basically going to glue just one part here, and then the top, and then the other side. So I'm actually going to glue this surface here, plus this first sort of bend, if you like, and I'm going to locate that, gluing onto these tabs, I'm going to locate that very carefully onto here. Once that's all done, and I've got that and the first little bend in, what I'll then do is I'll then glue this part onto here to get that fitting across there, and once that's done and that's in, I'll then pop this bit here down, and I'll locate that in place. and then last of all we'll just sort of tuck this in. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that now. So what I'm going to do is very carefully just glue it down onto here as well, and it's useful if you kind of pull the tabs out a little bit so there's some resistance when you sort of push to stick them down. That's it. Now I'm going to hold this in place just for a bit, just to make sure that it's fully stays in place. Get a little bit of resistance here and there, and you might need to kind of hold in just sort of along that edge. Okay, that is more or less secure. Probably do holding it a little bit more time, but happy with that, I guess. Okay, so last but not least, I'm just going to glue along these final tabs and across here. Okay, so that's it. That is the full kind of hull inside and out connected on, and that's a nice sturdy pod. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to locate the call it the architrave, for want of a better word, in here. That's this piece here, and that just needs to locate in here. So I'm just going to make sure that it fits nicely. Doesn't need any trimming or anything. Okay, so that all fits nicely. So last thing I need to do is basically just glue this into place. And with this, I've got the tabs all on here. It's all hidden. I'm just going to glue across this this whole area and pop it all in one go. So. Locate the top in. Line that up. And the rest of it will just drop into place. Making sure that this is kind of brought in level. It should sort of be square, the box as it were. And you can use a pen or something, but you've got a hole there to sort of start to locate the tabs down. And then pushing it flat to make sure that it's level on the base as well will actually kind of hold it in place and push it firm against the top there. Okay, so while I'm holding that down flat, last but not least, there's just a couple of little details to put on. Same as with the other pods. We've got a little bit of detailing across the front here, which just gives it that little bit of extra 3D detail. Very slight, subtle, but is pretty effective. And again, same across the top here for this part here. So I'm going to very quickly just pop those on. Okay, so that's your entrance. One more, the inverted corner to go, and you're all done. So thanks very much for watching, and on to the next tutorial video. Happy gaming!